Okay, now we are at episode 4, and I am wavering from my usual. Although the first case did occur in March 2015, the second one is from February 2016. The reason why I have wavered is because the similarities in the cases, the only real difference is the outcome and the color of the people. And the states. Now, first of all, I've decided I'd always like to remind people that united we stand and divided we fall. And this is not a channel that I'm not trying to say, anything other than just pointing out the fact that it happens all the time. Different races, different color police officers, and different reasons. Sometimes they actually do have a gun. Sometimes the officer is trying to do the right thing. I'm not opinionated on these videos, other than if I say that they're justified. I mean, that might be an opinion, but some of them, they clearly are. So we're going to focus in on this nice little serene scene right here and start. Okay? So this episode is actually called Naked and Afraid. And the reason why is because both of these people were naked. Okay? So evidently they did not have any concealed weapons. So we're going to say right at the get-go, both of these cases are unjustified. The first one is a 53-year-old white woman in Kansas named Deanne Choate. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It is Choate. I read through the court documents for this. I did extensive research for both of these cases, read through both court cases. Everything I could find. So, because I'm becoming quite passionate about this subject, it's interesting that this occurs and what's behind it all. So, anyway, she was at home in Kansas. Her boyfriend called the police and said she was intoxicated in the house with a handgun and suicidal. When they got to... Now, she appears to be very well liked amongst her community. No criminal history. Her Facebook page appeared that she was very active. And they had been together for a while. Both of them avid motorcyclists. Just well-liked people. When the police got there, he was outside, the boyfriend, so they immediately handcuffed him and put him in the cruiser. I'm not certain why they did that. So when they went into the house, they found Deanne very asleep and very naked in her bed. She was asleep. Her daughter was there to prove all of this. They woke her up and then repeatedly asked, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" Now, remind you, she is completely naked. They looked under the sheets. For a long time, they had 4 to 5 minutes to restrain or put handcuffs on this 115-pound naked lady that was sound asleep if they were feeling any kind of immediate threat, which they did not do. They continuously asked her, "Where is the gun? Where is the gun? Where is the gun? Where is your handgun?" Now, she was a licensed carrier, so for her to have a gun in her house, that's obviously why she became licensed. So they finally gave her a sweatshirt to put on, which then she proceeded to get her handgun. As soon as it was in her hands, they shot her. Dead. It was like a trick to get her to get it in her hands and then to shoot her. At which point, they immediately turned off all of their audio and visual and everything in order to protect the police. They were ordered to do that. Okay? Mind you, the daughter was there the whole time. The city of Kansas, their rule is to use deadly force regardless if there is an actual threat. That rule applies even in the second story, which takes place in Texas. I find that to be probably the most disturbing thing I've found while doing all this research. That's the key right there as to why there is so much police brutality. Because they are told to use deadly force regardless if there is an actual threat. And in the next case, they actually win the wrongful death suit. This one they do not, because the officers are not trained in any other way. So they're not trained how to not use deadly force. That's very disturbing, and in all of this protesting, someone may want to find out what is behind that, because that is incredible to me. They literally were not indicted, no punishment, no wrongful death suit. In fact, they cannot be held liable for punitive damages. Now, to me, a lot of times it really seems like there's a bad lawyer involved. The other case obviously had a better lawyer, or it could have been a color thing. I don't know. I say that because, you know, the other person's black. He won. This person's white. She didn't. So, you know, if we wanted to be, you know, from what I have found, the majority of cases won for wrongful death, even though there's not a lot of them, are black. I mean, if we're going to go by statistics, anybody could riot saying, oh, this is more, this is more, this is more. I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing. The bottom line is there is an actual law that protects these officers, saying that they are allowed to use deadly force regardless if there is an actual threat. I find that disgusting. Disgusting. So, they all got away with that. She got killed for no reason. A naked 115-pound woman. The daughter was there. She saw. There was nothing. Nothing she was able to do. In fact, what I find in a lot of these cases, too, is that some of these officers, they've also previously had excessive force charges against them, or had, you know, to do maybe 34 hours of training. Now, that's what kills me. When I say that, that's strange to me, because it's just occurred to me that in the next story, the family did win $3.25 million from the city of Austin, Texas, because they say they didn't train. The lawyer gave the argument that, well, they weren't trained in any other way to handle a call. But at the beginning of the story, or in one of the stories that I read multiple, they did say that this cop, this black officer, had previously had aggressive force. So he had undergone 34 hours of training. So that's odd to me. He didn't receive any other training, and that's why they won. But he did receive 34 hours training before this even happened. Perhaps the state needed a better attorney. He was not indicted, by the way. He was a black policeman. The person I am now talking of, the victim, is David Joseph, 17-year-old black man in Austin, Texas. Now, there had been calls of people in this neighborhood. It looked like a very nice neighborhood, actually, saying, you know, that there was a black man in the middle of the street. I guess he had called out to a girl. You know, just really, really acting strange. No weapon, mind you, obviously. Couldn't conceal it anywhere. And so this black policeman, who had used excessive force before, you know, answered the call and went looking for him. Now, so he goes looking for him without a plan in head other than to shoot him. That's what it appeared to me. I mean, if you're going to go looking for a naked person that you know obviously doesn't have a weapon, why is your gun out in the ready? It didn't make any sense. So there is dash cam video. Like I said, you can look this up. He comes across the naked teen who looks very thin, not, you know, overpowering or anything. And this is a, you know, I mean, this guy's in the middle of the road. The officer